Still got it. Yeah, I've just come back from the garage. Had a new ABS ring fitted on the car. It's cost me £80 plus the cost of the parts, about £16. And it elicited approximately 30 seconds worth of fault-free driving before the light came back on. They're saying they pulled the codes and it's saying that there's a fault on the other side as well. When they looked at it, it's missing teeth.
Well, unfortunately, these things happen when they're getting old. It can be replaced. We've shown that it can, so I wouldn't worry too much.
There, and it's come back on. That is an intermittent fault caused by the ABS ring missing teeth.
Right, so we think we know what the problem is. We know how to solve it.
I think possibly.
Okay then. It's a positive day.
It seems that the light will occasionally go off for a bit, and when it does, when you put your foot on the brake, it's activating the ABS, so it's like... This is an intermittent fault. So let's just wait and see.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's going... Oh.
What's wrong?
The brake pedal, like... Something's getting confused. And the speedo now, whereas before, the speedo would read 50% consistently until it decided, yes, there is a fault, and then it would jump to the proper speed and would religiously stay at that proper speed. I've had the new ring put on, and the light went off, then it came back on, then it went off, and then it came back on. But the speed on startup seems very hazy. You can see the speedo needle like wafting up and down like this, like it doesn't quite know where it wants to be. And I don't understand how it equates to the fault. It had a missing ABS ring, now it has an ABS ring. It should be getting a clean signal from that side because it's got a new sensor and a new ring. The other side hasn't changed. So I'm at a loss as to why the fault has changed just by having a part that needed replacing being replaced. Why has the fault changed? It should go away or stay the same. I don't understand why it's changed. That suggests that a new fault has decided to turn up at the same time as an old fault has been got rid of. Well, it's late. It's about 4 in the morning now. Finally got back, and the Volvo has let me down. Although it's probably not too fair to say, because what's actually let me down is the half shaft nut that holds the drive shaft into the gearbox and into the hub at the other end hadn't been tightened up properly when they'd taken it all out to change the ABS ring. And the upsum of that is that over about 30 miles, the nuts work loose, come free, and the wheels start to drop off the car. I was doing 60 miles an hour on the motorway at the time. There was this god-awful screech of like metal on metal. It actually sounded like it was dragging the exhaust, is the best way I can describe it. So I've immediately darted for the hard shoulder, done an emergency stop, and when I've got out and taken a look, the front wheel, you could actually see the brake disc was scored all the way around. So I thought, hello, that's not right. Tried moving the caliper, because initially I thought the caliper was loose and caliper's steady as a rock. And then I grabbed hold of the wheel and you could just rock it backwards and forwards, and there was like a metal clunk, 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 clunk. Got recovered by the AA. They had a look, and he took the wheel off. In fact, he jacked it up, and even before he took the wheel off, he said, there's your problem. And the wheel, you could move it in every direction. It was just pivoting about its centre. He was able to move the nut that was right on the end of the shaft, and you just like do it by hand. It's supposed to be torqued up to, I think he said, about 190 Newton meters, really tight, and it's clear that the garage hadn't done that, so it's caused a lot of damage. It's destroyed the wheel bearing, because as the wheel started to move, it's pushed the bearing out of alignment, and it's just shredded it. Absolutely shredded the insides of that. And the only thing that's really stopped the wheel from coming off completely is the fact that the disc has been running inside the brake caliper, and it's been banging backwards and forwards, holding it roughly in place, and that's why the disc is badly scored. But that has at least stopped the wheel from parting company with the car. So I'm going to have to take it back on Monday and go, oi, I'm not paying you to destroy my car. So that's where we're up to. We're out here, we've jacked it up, and I'm going to show you exactly what the problem is. Now we've got it off the ground, the wheel's free to rotate of sorts. And if you come around here, you can see that the hub is moving in relation to everything else. And it should be lock solid as one with the brake calipers, so I shouldn't be able to do that. And as you can see, it's moving backwards and forwards. And the only thing that's stopping this from drifting off the axle is these calipers, so the disc is kind of bouncing in between those, and you can see that that's resulted in some quite nasty score marks on the surface of the disc. So they don't feel too deep, so the disc might not be destroyed, but even so, the other side is rock solid, and this, well, that, you can hear the drive shaft moving around, and you can hear the play in the bearing, and that's after the man from the AA tightened that nut up as far as he could to see if that was all that had happened, but no, it's made the bearing collapse inside. You can see around there we've got these circles going around. There they are, and that's scoring where this caliper has dragged on the disc. I just had a look underneath, there's no sign of suspension parts being loose. Well, we got the Volvo fixed in the end. I rang up the garage and they were actually very apologetic. There was no attempt to kind of say it was my fault or anything like that, which was good. Took it down there. It's been sorted out, reassembled properly this time. They ensured it was all torqued up. All the damage was assessed and fixed where necessary. I've got to drive it around, albeit quite carefully. It has rocked confidence a little bit, so I won't be using it to drive to work apart from on Saturday. That's when I'm going to give it a little bit of a road test, and then it's going back up on the ramps at the garage on Monday, and they will assess to see whether there's any long-term damage that hasn't already been picked up. Once it's run, they'll be able to see that and check it, and they'll be able to check that the bolt's still torqued up to the correct amount. So fingers crossed, we're on the road to recovery for the Volvo. To head off any questions that there might be about whether the intermittent speedo issues, the ABS issues could have all been wrapped up in this. Absolutely not. Nothing to do with those. And the symptoms that they were showing were consistent with defective ABS rings and nothing to do with the hub, as it turned out, sliding off the axle. So if you're wondering, that wasn't the case. It has been checked out. But that's all we've got time for here today. So until next time, don't forget to like, share, ring the bell to be the first to know about new videos as they go up. Until then, you take very good care of yourself. Bye for now. Today's video has been brought to you in part thanks to the generous donation of my fans on Patreon. And a special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Mark Anthony and Michael Churchwood. If you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk. Thank you. Today's video has been brought to you by my books, Bringing Home the Stars, Twinkle Little Star, and also you can get the complete comic collections of All Over the House, Books 1, Books 2, and also the wacky zany Life of Knobty Mouse. Thanks, and catch you later.